Right. So, good morning. And today, actually, we are going to learn about some components that we have to employ when we are doing application development, and also practically working with the no-code development solution. So, I assume, apart from this student that who have gone to that music competition, you may all have like laptops, right? So because this will be a kind of like a practical session, and I'm going to actually, practically demonstrate how to build, without having any sort of knowledge about the web development, how to build a web application, right? So if I recall what we have learned in the last week we have learned about basically the fundamentals of rapid application development and some of the software like development methodologies. So today, introduction to rapid application development environment. So basically, in the rapid application development, we uses predefined prototyping techniques, as I have already mentioned in the last week, and tools to produce the software application. Basically, there are pre-built already available components are there, labels, text boxes, date time picker, some buttons, and different sort of buttons are there. We have drag and drop all these things, and we need to make application. And this encompasses a graphical user interface development environment, allowing in users to easily drag and drop required software application components, right? If we are using Java with NetBeans and Java with Swift framework, and also like C# with .NET framework, there are already available components, and you can make a graphical user interface, right? By easily using drag and drop techniques. So this is one example, Java Swing with NetBeans. Now actually this Swing framework, it is kind of like already depreciated. You can see on the left side, you have various sorts of like components are there. So this is the graphical user interface that you can create. That you can drag and drop components in here, and you can write the necessary logic. And if you can define if something happens and what my applications can do, like it's for the event-driven programming, you will learn with the C# later in the next weeks. So that is the Java Swing with NetBeans. Yeah, let's say if you assume if you have already drag the button from that particular, we call it a palette, a color palette some component palette, drag a component like button, you can see here the code is automatically generated. And so you can write the logic. If some action is performed, you can write the logic. And so you can make a comprehensive application, right? Hi. So this is Bubble.io. It is a no-code web development platform that we can use for rapid application development. On the right side, yeah. So on the left side, you can see. So there are text boxes, buttons, and all sort of things available. And also, you don't have to worry about anything, even a single bit of programming, because already the code is actually, even the code, you call it workflows. You can, you can define workflows because it will be automatically suggested, and you can make the database applications like using the drag and drop techniques to this application pane. And we are going to learn about this today. And this is another framework, rapid application development framework, Microsoft Light Switch. And yes, so up to here, do you guys have any questions? Right. Before moving in, you guys need to know the components in the rapid application development environment. I told you you had to drag and drop the components. Alright. Then we have a drag and drop kanagota. There are components that you need to remember and you need to understand the functionality. Application window, starting from the very first thing, right? That makes the container for your software application. Application window. So if you are working on the Windows environment, you can see this is the normal interface that you are getting, right? Some screens of background image, and this is the normal application window. On this side, you can see the minimize, maximize, and the closure button. So if it is some kind of like MacBook environment, you can see on the that side, particular left side, some colorful icons are there. So it's different from operating system to operating system, but this is the case of Windows. Most application windows have the construct supplied by the operating system. So depending on the operating system that you are working on, that particular application window, you call it the primary window, it will be depend, right? Let's say, like if it is a Windows operating system, it will open a PowerPoint, maybe Word. The main window. It's the apart from the menu buttons, icon, and whatever the internal functionality, the main window is the same for all the things, right? So that is for the application window, and most application windows have the construct supplied by the operating system, like I have already mentioned. If it is like a MacBook, like Mac operating system, so they do have the particular minimize, maximize button on the left side. So here Windows, it is on the right side. So from operating system to operating system, this application window is actually changing. Right. Dialog box. So when it comes to dialog box, you know that when we are saving a particular application, when we are opening a particular existing document from the Word, PowerPoint, or Excel, we have this kind of box, right? So this is for the save as for PowerPoint. You can see there are some buttons over here. You can input some file name, and this is a drop-down list. You can like a save as type. You can define the type, like a PowerPoint presentation, like a PDF, you can define. So this is a dialog box. Right, dialog box. So I told you application window is the primary window, right? Application window is the primary window. All these dialog boxes and things are opening inside that particular main window. So this is called a child window. I will explain that later because we have to learn about this single document interface and the multiple document interface later. So you got get a child window contains some messages for the user. So in this dialog box, you can see there are some messages. Like method folder paths, you can see the path we are saving the application. Actions can be taken upon the request. So once you select the particular file path that you are saving, and if you select the particular file type from the drop-down list, you can hit the button and you can save, and that's all, right? Actions can be taken upon the request. Right. Up to this point, do you guys have any questions? Right. So text box. So intended functionality, you can see the text area here. Basically, you can write something, right? Provide an area for users to type, can enter text-based data, and that is obvious, right? That's all about the text area and the button. So you can see different sort of button. So this is basically a C# application, C# from the Windows 7 environment. And when it's come to button, used to submit an input to the software. Maybe like that. Once all the things are done, you can hit the OK button. Or if you need to cancel the function, you can hit the cancel button. If you need, and if you have like close button like this, once you hit that, it will close the application. Used to submit input to the software. Right. Right. Radio at the same time, right? So I'm actually recording this, so I will be uploading the recording to the LMS. So once this is done, that's why I have Zoom. Pause, stop recording. Yeah. Yeah. Let's say, and you have two options, like the famous example, male, female, right? Either you will be a male or otherwise it's a female, right? Only two options and only one can be selected. So in the given example, so you have the Microsoft some operating system and you can only select one, right? That's all. So that is the functionality of radio buttons. And apart from this radio buttons, we have check boxes. So these are for the check boxes. It's like when you select that, like it will be highlighted as you have ticked that. Right? It allows the user to select one or more options from a set, right? Maybe like if you are making some application for like a car sales management system and whatever your client, he can select the options using these check boxes, right? Maybe like he will be saying, I need a car with some kind of sunroof, maybe like 1500cc engine capacity. He will be selecting all sort of options. So at that moment, instead of radio buttons, you can have this checkbox option. Right. Drop down list, right? This is a drop down list. Basically, it will give you one options. It will allow you to select from many options. Allows user to select one item at a time, much similar to a radio button. You can only have mutually exclusive options, right? So just remember the concept and whatever the main thing about what their functionality is, and that will be enough, right? Toggle button. Right. So this is actually kind of like from I had taken from the Windows 10 and Windows 11 environment. It's like a switch, right? May button like a click on it will be like it will be like indicating as off, otherwise on. Likewise, it's a kind of like a normal switch. Allows the user to change the setting between two states on or off, right? So that is another sort of button that we need to familiarize with. Date time pickers, right? So this is the application we have. And if you select here, it will allow you, it will give you a pop-up like a date time picker. And from that date time picker, it will be, we can select the time and the particular date. And then what happens is you can submit that particular date and time. And on the other hand, like I have already mentioned, depending on the operating system, the interface, it will be changed. If it is like a mobile application, Android application, the date time picker, this GUI is like something different. If it is a Windows environment, it's another thing, right? So depending on the operating system, this all will be changed. Right. Single document interface. Right. So single document interface in the sense, it opens each document in its own primary window. Each window has its own menu, toolbar, and entry in the taskbar. So this is an example for single document interface. Basically, this is a simple notepad application. You can see this is the application. You have a menu here. You have some buttons over here. You have the title of the application, and you have the working place over here, right? Single document interface. A document එක interface එක අපිට තියෙන්නේ. Right? සරලව කියනවා. It opens each document in its own primary window. හිතන්න ඔයා තව notepad එකක් මේක ඇතුළේ open කරා කියලා එතකොට ඒක අලුත් like it will be opened as another interface, right? Each window has its own menu, toolbar, and all sort of button kind of things. But apart from that, so this is called the MDI applications, multiple document interface. It allows you to open more than one document at the same time. So this is the parent window. Inside this parent window, you can open many, as much as document you can, right? So this is the menu bar. This is shared one. All these are like primary windows. Inside this parent window, you can open many many child window. So this is called the multiple document interface. It has a parent window, and apart from that, it can have any number of child windows. And child windows usually have various parts of the parent window interface, including the menu bar, toolbar, and status bar. Like in this previous example, may child windows access basically that part is actually shared, right? So that's it about the MBA application. So up to this point, do you guys have any questions? Any questions up to this point? Right. Fine. Right. If you don't have any questions, yeah, we'll move into the practical thing. Right. So just before beginning on the next lesson, right? You guys have any sort of web development background. Web development as students from the some you are more into mechanical automation engineering, right? So have you done anything apart from this embedded programming or microcontroller programming related to web development? Anything? Anyone? All right. So I assume it is not. So I'm gonna right. The thing is, when it's come to snowboard development solution, it's actually like an application development, platform that we can create web applications without worrying about any underlying knowledge or something. You can develop the application. We don't have to worry about any part of the coding context of the that. Right? But when it comes to C#, initially, I'll be like doing some practical related to you. You need to make a word kind of applications. After making that application, you need to make some information system related to the fast management system or something. Yeah. And before that, you will be sticking with this thing for this week and the next week, hopefully. Right? Right. So, if you already have laptop, so maybe if you don't have one, so you can share with your friend. So, what is bubble? Right. So you can even type on the your web browser as bubble and maybe you can try to locate the platform. So what is this bubble layer? Right. So it's basically a no-code development solution. And bubble is visual programming. That means even if you don't have any understanding about the programming related to anything, they have all the things in a visual manner. They have all the pre-built components, even the text boxes, buttons, data, because all the things are there on the application palette. And on the other hand, even they do have the predefined events also. They do have all sort of things. Even the database also is there. So you don't have to worry about the code, it's about drag and drop, and that's all. So that's why I have mentioned Bubble is about visual programming, right? And on the other hand, it is offered to us. It's called platform as a service. Acronym is stand for that PaaS, right? Platform as a service. When it comes to this cloud computing, we are offering the cloud services in three forms: software as a service, infrastructure as a service, and also platform as a service, right? When it comes to software as a service, Google Gmail, it's a cloud-based solution. Basically, we can see the email service only. So it's a software as a service. And if you are like having a maybe like adjacent EC2 cloud server or the virtual machine from the cloud, it's for the infrastructure as a service. But here, it's actually provides a no-code development platform. It can have application development platform provide and that's why we are calling it as platform as a service. And it lets you drag and drop the components, right? Right. No coding is required. Actions are based on the plain English, right? That means it is on a high level. You don't have to worry about yeah. You need to have some kind of familiar knowledge about English, and that's all, right? Can build an entire database, right? So today we are going to do that. Full front-end design and even connect with the third-party services, right? So maybe it is a mobile application development, maybe it is some kind of like a desktop application development, web application development means in PHP language. We have some plugins and some third-party libraries, right? So same as that, this bubble allows you to connect to some third-party services, right? You can build things like Pinterest, Asana. Pinterest it's like some kind of platform like Instagram. Asana is like some kind of project management tools. Even if you are mastered in this no-code development solutions in Bubble IU and other platform, you can even software like that. That's the thing. So Bubble, it allows you to, it lets you to control the front that can in between of here. Have you ever heard the concept called as front end and back end? Front end data, back end data. When it's come to web application development, probably, I mean, like it's come to web application development, we do have to concept front end and the back end. So if you are like in a web browser or something, if you type the URL, you can, I mean, like if you browse some particular website, you can see the that front end on the website. It's called the front end. But underneath that particular website, so it is actually retrieving data from some particular web server, and that does have a database and the necessary source code and the logic. So that's called the back end. So there's a difference between this front end and the back end, right? You have your display. Initially, I mean, like a display, you can drag and drop the components, and you have a database. You can create new databases, and you have your workflows, right? UI. So if this is the application, I mean, like every application has some user interface. Like if it is a mobile application, if it is a desktop application, they will have a GUI. So in the case this scenario, basically this is a web. We are going to build web applications, and as I told you, you have the database connected source code data, and connecting this to basically you have workflows, right? You can define what to happen next. I mean, like you can define the event. It's for the workflows, right? So before moving in, do you guys have any questions up to this point? Any questions? So, right. So I assume you guys are ready. The girl behind you. The one who is what are these? Where? Right. So I'm going to start the practical thing so you can have the laptops and please, I mean, like stick with me if you have any questions or just ask me. Right. Whenever කරාට කමන්නේ අහුවේ නැති වෙන්න කරන්න ඕන එක. I don't mind. All right. So now you have to type so bubble.io. So it's like in the Google, it is suggesting something like that. Bubble.io, the full stack no code and builder. Code එක පොඩ්ඩක් වань දැනගන්න ඕනේ. Right. I think you guys have the that Wi-Fi connection to students, right? Well, Wi-Fi cannot get that. So the problem is I have already logged in my Gmail account, right? So that's the thing. I have already logged in, and once you logged in, yeah. So my account is created. So you have to use your Google login, Gmail login. Anyone have issue with that? Right? Google login එක පාවිච්චි කරාම ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඉන්නේ මෙතෙන්ට. Right? So these are the applications that I have already built from 2020 onwards, even for yeah. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට seniors සට කරපුවා. Right? මෙතෙන්ට වෙනකම් මුකුත් තියෙනවද ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහගන්න? So and I can hit the create new app. මෙතෙන්දී remember there's something on that. You have to give us some unique name. A name එක අයි පාරක් දෙන්න බෑ. So remember that thing. So I'm going to give right. It says build with premium features, 40-day free trial, upgrade or downgrade because I mean like last time I did the lectures, it was around 2021 to your last, I mean like seniors. And after that time, some features they have already changed. So we didn't have this kind of interface and you need to hit the start with the basic features, right? Right. මෙතෙන්ට වෙනකන් හරිද? හරි. අහන්න තියෙන I mean like if you have something to ask, even you can ask either මම ළඟට හරි කියලා දෙන්න. So right. Anyone having questions up to this point? Right. මේකේ මේ images ටික නා right. So I will initially explain what is the components මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා. Application editor, right? On your left side of the screen, you have this kind of pane, application editor. So this is where this here. This is where text, button, icon, link, image, shape, alert, video, HTML, map, even you can integrate some maps. So you can drag and drop the components into this application pane. When the white window එකේ තමයි making our GUI based application, right? We can drag and drop the components to here. So that part is called the application window. So this here, this side, right? And in the application editor, we do have several tabs. Method. So starting from here, design tab, workflow tab, backend workflows, data, styles, plugins, settings, and log, right? So in each menu, let's see what it will do. This design tab, it's area where you design your application interface. You can basically edit, drag and drop the components from the palette on the left side, right? So that is done. Workflow tab. Basically, you can define the workflows. Let's say you drag and some button, and you can define the event. A button click කරාට පස්සේ what needs to happen next. Likewise, that a button click කරාට පස්සේ may text area I mean, like if you're gonna hover over that particular text area, what needs to happen next? Can the text area the mouse එකේ cursor එක ගෙනියනකොට මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා, right? So that is called the workflow tab. Right. And the data tab. There's a tab called data. You can access your databases, right? It's important in database programming. And I have seen a new one, backend workflows and workflows. So I think backend workflows, it was introduced, I mean, like in a recent time, and I assume it is similar to this workflow event and with more functionalities. So let's see. Styles tab. You can define the different styles that elements can have your interface. Basically, I mean, like it's about the styling and data related to whatever software application, right? In normal web programming, we are using CSS or cascading style sheet or some JavaScript like jQuery, Copilot, that kind of libraries. But here they do have the inbuilt style tab, so we don't have to worry about having the knowledge about the CSS or that sort of languages. Next, we have the plugins tab. You can extend your application functionality by installing new plugins, right? Let's say if you are making some application and if you want to integrate maybe PayPal or other payment gateway. So this, if you go to the plugins tab, they will have some existing, I mean, like the payment gateway, so that you can integrate with your application. And apart from that, basically the plugins tab, whatever the plugins inside the plugin tab, it allows you to extend the functionality of your application. Settings and the logs tab. Basically, settings tab allows you to control your application subscription and other settings. Right. So the thing is, I mean, like compared to the early time, now actually, I mean, like they have limited some of the functionalities, but even from the basic version without paying anything, we can make a web application. But unfortunately, last time, back in 2021, we did have the Amilanta functionality deployed as Amilanta with some kind of Amilanta pre-built domain name. We cannot have a customized domain name like cmb.ac.lk domain name, but previously they allowed to deploy the application, but now you need to upgrade that thing. Otherwise, we can view the preview as a web application. So all the things that can be done using the settings tab. And if you are done with the web application event, so you can deploy it as some kind of live web. You can domain name right? CM like that. Here like cmb.ac.lk. Otherwise, like domain name website integrate and it can be done from the settings tab. Logs tab allows you to help the diagnosis past events and workflow issues. Basically, I mean, like something that if you have issues related to the application, or if you need to find out, I mean, like application why there is events that is happening login time so you can browse the logs tab. Right. So that's it about that brief introduction about the platform. So this is the design tab, this is our workflow, this is the database tab, and this is the styles tab, and this is the plugins tab. And this is the settings tab. And you can see we have the pre-version. From the pre-version, they will allow you to have 500 megabytes of cloud storage and logs tab. So up to this point, any questions? Anything that you want to know? Right. So if you don't have any questions, introduction to programming with Bubble.io. Hurry. So let me see. So now we are going to make some kind of a web application. So initially we are going to make some sort of like an application to login and sign up, right? So your first Bubble app. So this is the kind of user interface, right? So you have some input areas and button. So this is basically a text area. And yeah, creating a new app, go to the home page, sign up using your Gmail account, name your app, it should be unique, and hit the create new app. Select start with a blank page. Then the option page and close the assistant, right? Right, creating the app. Right. One thing I have missed, whenever you make a web application is when you are like executing or when you are invoking the web application to your browser, you need to know there's a page called index.html. They can index.html or index.html. Maybe like you will have millions or billions of web pages, but the thing is, through your browser, if you invoke a website, the first page that you are retrieving is called the index.html. That is the norm or a standard. Right? Because the web servers, when they have the required request, they will be retrieving this index.html and rendering that particular page to the client browser. So that we can see the pages here. Make a page index.html, and apart from that, there are some pre-built pages here, and apart from that, we can make new web pages from here. Right? So now right. Creating your first tab. Drag and drop the text box, inputs, and the buttons. So we are going to work in with that thing. Right. So you guys can follow me. Any questions after this point? Right. So you can see both my screen, right? Creating the first step. So you need to have a component, placeholder, text type, right? So what I'm going to do is, initially I have a text area. Method in text area, method to drag right? Drag and drop. And according to here, I'm going to name it as sign up to my app. So text area copy I have this kind of application window is opening, and I'm going to change this edit me to sign up to my app. So, I mean, like if you can change the styling, I mean, like you can do it from here. Like you have the app font, sorry, app font, and maybe like I'm going to define it. So, and I'm going to say in the text area, it should be bold. Likewise, that. දැන්ට වෙනකම් ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද? ඒ කියන්නේ මොකක් හරි දැනගන්න. Right? After that, I need to have some inputs, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the one button. Right. Harida. So you need to have the input from here. පල්ලෙහාට ගියොත් can see input, or otherwise you can search the elements from here. මෙන්න මෙතනින් elements ටික search කරන්න පුළුවන් නමින්. So yes, I have a one input over here. Right? Even you copy paste කරන්න. Yes, you can do that. What happened? Hi, I need to have a one input. Right. මෙතෙන්ද වෙනකන් input හයක් මට තියෙනවා. I will change the whatever the names and attributes later. And I need to have a one button. I think button is on the top. Yeah. I need to have a one button. Like this. Right? I may. And if you are not happy with the color or anything, you can see the background color. You can change this color to any other thing. So you can do even in this application. If you click here, that is the main primary application window, right? You can change the background color. Maybe like you can integrate some kind of image. So make a what area click so you can see this whatever the index page. Index page properties right? May properties you can change, right? So any questions up to this point? Any questions? Anyone have any issue? So yeah. Before do the rest of the day. Right. So shall I move? Now, if you don't have any issues, මුලින්ම කරන්න ඕන ආයෙ මං කියන්න from this application component palette, you need to have a text area. I mean, like this kind of like a text, drag and drop to here, change the name. You can define the some style, no other things. Then you need to have 6 inputs. Maybe you can have a one input and copy and paste up to 6, and you need to have a one button over here, right? On my presentation, I have denoted, I mean, like I have highlighted the placeholders that you need to give. Placeholder එක කියන්නේ normally in a web application development, placeholder is like you are in for a particular input, you are saying the thing that you can highlight. They can type here, you need to, I mean, like input some email. Otherwise, first name, last name. So that is for the placeholder. That is actually denoted by the placeholder, right? Now, if you are done with the previous build-up, now I'm going to define the placeholders. So this is a normal text area. And the placeholder, it should be email address. Make a click on this input area, right? Click this. And on the top, you can have the placeholder property, right? So I'm going to just type. Copy and copy paste karna, ogala type karana email address killer, right? So you can see make an email address killer that has been changed now, right? And the second one, password, result, right? Make a password killer change karagana. And the third one, confirm password. Right? After that, I'll be having first name as the placeholder in the next input. Methana first name type karana denawa. And after that, I'll be having last name. And here it's date of birth, right? So right now I have changed the placeholders of all the inputs, right? Then I need to change the button, button again, and I need to define the type for that particular input inputs. Any questions up to this point? Right. So now I'm going to change this button text area. Click the button and you can see on the button type label and button label එක change කරගන්න. What is the name I have to sign up? Right. Button label change to sign up. Right. And after that, what I'm going to do is please, so go to this email, click that and the content. Content format, email. And here change this content format to email. And for the password, change it to password. And click here, confirm password. It is again password, right? And first name, it should be something string that you are typing. So it should be text. And here it is also text and date of birth. And it should be type. What is the input I have given? Date. Yes. Select it as date. Right. Any questions up to here? So that is the simple user interface that I have created. Right. Now the thing is, I have created partial redundant, then any issues, so right. Now I have told you, now we are going to actually make a database application, right? So the thing is already pre-built components are there. Now make a sign up application and other. So if you go to this database tab, may data tab you can see there's already a data tab. So like before moving in, so database structure. What does it mean by database? So in every software application, whether it's a payroll management system, some kind of point of sale management system in a supermarket, there will be storing some data. So all this data actually saved in a place called database, right? database එක denote කරන normally sign that විදිහට මෙතන මේ sign එක තමයි use කරන්නේ in programming and architectural design, right? Database එකේ normally කොහොමද කියන්නේ? So if it is a student management system, right? Student should have a level, student should have a name and birth, not the birthplace, the location, student ID. So all these things are there, so you need to store these things. Normally, we have two types of databases. After databases like relational databases and non-relational databases. Non-relational databases NoSQL databases relational databases like if it is a student management system and if we are saving some student information, so normally we can save that thing. Mama lecture so I can save your student marks with the all the assignment that you will be getting inside Excel sheet, right? A format again, even in a particular database server, let's say SQL server, that you will be doing in forthcoming weeks. SQL server database table table I can set up the path and I can define the logic and I can save all your data. So that is called in a table format. It's called a relational database. And database table should have a unique identifier. Normally, student management system maker, even for your batch, you will have a different student ID and you have a different student ID, right? So that is a unique for each person. I mean, like, when it comes to the University of Colombo student management system, I mean, like when they are saving your data, so they will be identifying you uniquely through your student ID. That's why they are giving you a unique student ID, right? Nobody appears again, primary if I need a primary key, I can open and applicate primary key, right? So that's it about the relational databases. But when it's come to other databases like let's say the case of Facebook, maybe like some other social media. They, like you have like some kind of a Facebook profile, right? Page profile data. So you will be uploading from time to time. You will be uploading some text, you will be uploading images, you will be uploading videos and all sort of things. You will be going some other interest profile and you will be commenting, right? So you have a lot of data. It could be in a video format, it is in an MP3 format, image format, I mean like some stickers and all sort of things, right? So this data is called unstructured data. Data is called relationship data, unstructured data. So you have that to save that data, Facebook and likewise all these social media companies, they are mostly using like unstructured databases, that is like NoSQL databases, right? Facebook, they are using the database called Cassandra. I don't know whether they have changed it here, but until now, recently, they have used the basic database called Cassandra, which is a NoSQL database. Yeah. So even like when I was working with UNCES, I was actually teaching the mobile application development, and I told them how to work with a database called Firebase, which is a NoSQL database, right? Yeah. So that's it about the databases. So here, the thing is Bubble.io, they are also provide an inbuilt user database by default. They can a database default, we don't have to worry, right? So after learning all these lessons and things, I'll be giving you some assignments to create a bubble lab. So you need to make some small student management system by yourself. Everyone has to do that, and I'll be grading that also. So you need to, for that, you need to create your own databases apart from this user database. So it's up to you. So the thing is, Bubble.io, they do have pre-built database called user database. But the thing is, I mean, like in my application, when I'm writing the components, my password field they got set, input field they got right. But the thing is, my database in the Bubble.io, I cannot see a field code. So I can have the email, modified date, created date, or otherwise I can create a new field. I can first name and for saving the last name, I can create two new fields. Database එකේ columns yeah, columns දෙකක් මට හදන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට rows විදිහට ඔයා data save කරනවා. And but there's a I mean like a field called password. Because of the security reason, we cannot see that. But remember, a password කියන එක automatically මෙතන තියෙනවා. We cannot see that because of the privacy reasons. Right. So now there's a database, so we don't have to worry. So up to this point, do you guys have any question? Now I'm going to make the database, right? I need to create two new fields in this user database. Field name, first name, and text type, because first name කියන්නේ text type එකක්. Last name කියන්නේ is a text type. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක type එක text එකක් නේ, and if it is a date of birth, it should be with the format of date type එකේ. Similar, right? So here I'm saving it as text create, and another field and last name. This should be also text. And I need to have another field to save the date of birth. I'm going to name it as DOB. And field type, it should be date. Ara type එකමයි මේ අතෙන් දුන්නේ date type එකමයි. So I'm going to hit the create. So now I have created the database. Hurry. Now, if you have to use the interface unlock ready and the database is ready, what happens is when we hit the sign up button, එතකොට sign up event is triggered and event something must be happened, right? Sign up button එක click කරාම මොකක් හරි වෙන්න ඕන. We need to save the data in the database and page එක refresh වෙන්න ඕන එක්ක error එකක් තියෙනවා නම් මොකක් හරි වෙන්න ඕන. right? So for that, in order to define the events, we have to create the workflows. And we need to have the understanding about English. Right? Workflows must be clearly defined. Right? Workflow must be clearly defined. So go to this design tab if we are done with the database, and here sign up, and button sign up, it says the name, and at workflow. Button sign up is clicked. Right? So එතෙන්දි click කරනකොට right. So as I have already mentioned to you, when button sign up is clicked, මෙතනින් even different you can define the events. Click here to add an action. මොනවද වෙන්න ඕන actions? I need my user to sign up, right? Hello. නෑ මේ සඳර කතා කරන්න කිව්වේ. අද එනවා. හවස එනවා. හරි මන්ද මේ ලෙක්චර් එකේ හරි මම ගන්න 12ට. Right. Account, sign the user up, right? And we'll have another frame to define the workflows, right? මෙන්න මේ වගේ තැනකට එනවා. Right. Any questions up to this point? Right. Product deactivated. So mama මේ වගේ screen එකකට එනවා. So sign the user up. You can here click input email address value. So that means like ඔයාලා එතකොට sign up කරනකොට button එක click කරාම වෙන්න ඕන. එතකොට ඔයා ගන්න ඕන email address එක password එක ඊට පස්සේ password confirmation එක හරිද කියලා බලන්න ඕන. You will get first name, last name and the date of birth, right? So that's why may email එකට sign the user up වලට email එක දෙන්නේ input email address value and sign the password input. So I click here input password value, and you need to select it because I have a confirm password option, require password confirmation, and confirmation එකට වර දෙන්න ඕන input confirm passwords value. So that will check the both the inputs value at the runtime. Right. May button maker. So you have the sign up button. So when you click that, you can have this kind of window, right? Button sign up. Go to edit workflow. When the button is sign up is clicked, you can have action you can define, right? You can say sign the user up, and you will have this kind of window. And for the email, what happens is you need to take the email address, password, And you need to check whether the passwords is matching with the confirmed passwords value. You need to take the first name, last name, and the date of birth, right? So for the email, I'm taking input email address value and passwords, input passwords value. And there's an option called confirmation. Confirm you can define the input confirm passwords value. So that will be taken during the sign up, right? And there are some other fields also, but up to here. Value, input email address, value. They don't that value, right? They value this open up. Any questions up to here? Right. ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් ඒ කියන ඕන කතා කරන්න. Hari. Now we have three separate fields: date of birth, first name, and last name. So for that, I'm gonna click this, change another field. මෙතන දෙනවා. So all these options එතකොට මෙතන click කරපු ගමන් මට දෙනවා මේ field තුන. මේ තුන තමයි remaining field තුන that I didn't have, I mean like that I didn't find with the particular database field. මේ options කරන මට මේ විදිහටම automatically suggest කරන හරිය විදිහට කරානා, right? So for the date of birth, right? හොඳට බලා ගන්න. So equal and input date of birth value, right? And change another field. So it is automatically suggesting first name, input first name's value, right? Another field for last name, input last name's value, right? Any issues? Anyone having any issues? Workflow must be clearly defined, right? So, hurry. Now, I mean, like, when the, I mean, like, the workflow evaluates what happens is if the user creation is successful, matter, if I should display some pop-up. මොකක් හරි pop-up එකක් display කරන්න ඕන. In HTML, sorry, HTML programming or normal web programming we call it as a display in a modal. ඒකට කියන්නේ HTML modal එකක් කියලා. Or otherwise some you can describe some JavaScript alert. But here in bubble we call it as a pop-up. අපි display කරන්නේ මෙන්න මේ වගේ pop-up එකක්. Right? So you can now like decorate it with the way you want. So for that, what I'm going to do is add a new pop-up to the index page. මෙතෙන්ට වෙනකම් ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න දැනට. Right? Otherwise මෙතෙන්ට ගියොත් එතනින් එහාට ගියොත් කරගන්න අමාරු වෙයි. Right. Now හරි මේක මේව කරා මේක මම ක්ලෝස් කරනවා. Right, now I'm going to go to the index page. Take a close karnawa. But close suna hai. And I'm gonna add the pop-up application pane එකේ මෙතන. So right. මෙතන මේ pop-up කියන එක අරගන්න. right, pop-up එක අරගත්ත ගමන් එතකොට අපිට container alignment එක so I'm just changing the size of the container. Maximum width එක, maximum height it should be. Right. Right. මේක තමයි pop-up එක that I have drag and drop to the index page, right? If you are done with, that thing, what I'm gonna do is may index, may pop-up එක උඩට I'm gonna drag and drop a text area, right? මේ text එක මෙතන ගෙනහල්ලා I'm gonna say text එක you have මෙන්න මේ විදිහට I'm just naming the text, right? You have looked sign up successfully. It should be signed up. So EDN don't mind the mistakes, any mistakes. So whatever thing you can put there, right? You have signed up successfully. Pop-up එක අරගෙන pop-up එක උඩ text area එකක් ගෙනාවා. Any issues? Then after that, so මෙතන මේ application window එකේ, so you can see some icon over here. It's like a kind of like a හරියටම icon like a eye, right? මෙන්න මෙතන. ඒ කියන්නේ you can make the item visible if you click on that. ඒ කියන්නේ visible ද නැද්ද කියලා. So when you click on that for the pop-up, you can see pop-up එක යනවා. So we can see that only the sign up interface, right? ඒ icon එක click කරන්න. So make it invisible now. Then අපිට for that to us, we only need to showcase that pop-up with the successfully sign up. Right? So we make invisible now. Any issues regarding anything? And don't worry about that, whatever the placement of the that particular pop-up. Basically, you can change the width and the height and with regard to the content, but it seems we cannot like move that particular pop-up. Right. If you have already make it invisible and if you don't have any questions, so right. The last thing what you need to do is go to the workflow tab. Workflow tab එකට යන්න. Right. Now you have defined the actions when user click the sign up button and when the user sign up. So for this you have defined click here to add an action. Sorry, I think it was deleted. Sign the user up, email, input email address, value. Input passwords, value. Require password confirmation and input passwords, value. And I have three fields, date of birth, first name, proud. Now, Mama, so with this particular workflow, I will retrieve all the user values in the user field, and I'm gonna save that. And give me a second. Hello, Rohan sir. Hari, Mama, let's check email. Hari sir. Hari. And so now it is done. And what happened next is you can extend your particular workflows, right? Click here to add an action. What need to happen is you need to custom events. So the custom events. Element actions, right? Select the action, go to the element action, show, and you can select the element, right? Pop-up A. That was the pop-up name that I have given, right? After that, ekaharina, navigate, refresh the page. Metra kare, go to element actions and select that particular like show and element එක pop up එක විදිහට දෙන්න. Then after that third step එක විදිහට වෙන්න ඕන navigation, go to the navigation, refresh the page. So after that, the application development is done and basically I can view the preview. Right. Meantime, if you have questions, please let me know. So you type the email address. Right. So I'm going to explain one more time again. Go to the workflow tab. Workflow tab එකට ගිහිල්ලා. So I delete it again. හොඳට බලන්න ගන්න. So we have defined one action, right? Click here to add an action. Element actions. Show. අපිට ඊට පස්සේ display කරන්න ඕන මේ ටික database එකේ. Once we have saved all this data in the database, we need to showcase the pop-up. Invincible pop-up, right? So choose the element we need to showcase. Pop-up A. That was an event that I have given, right? After that, as the third and the final step, go to the navigation and refresh the page. And upon the completion of all the things, go and see whether it is working through the preview. Preview එකේ බලන්න වැඩ කරනවද කියලා. Once it is එතකොට you once get all the things correctly, pop up the showcase and the page refresh then go and see the database page, database tab, right? So here so I'm going to enter this thing. I'm going to name it as. So once I hit the sign up button, you can see pop-up is displaying and the page is refreshed, right? So once it is completed, go and see the database tab. Data. So you can see, go to the app data. Again, database එකේ data ටික බලාගන්න database එකේ what to check whether your database data has saved on the database. App data, you can see email, date of birth, my last name and first name and created date. All the fields have been created. Right, that's the thing. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Video.